So you find you've gone into being negative from time to time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come back from.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How many of you found that this week, where you find like, oh, I tend to fall into like this kind of negative headspace, and it's not very useful. I had that this.
I forgot to do that.
You had to zip up. I had that this morning as I was kind of, woke up and I was walking here. I stayed up late last night getting some work done. I don't know if it was because of sleep or whatever, but whatever the reason is, I was aware that I was in this kind of weird headspace this morning as I was walking here, and I was using the walk as a meditation just to kind of clear whatever, or actually before clearing it, being really present to it as well. And it can happen because the thoughts that we're having can shape how we feel. So the thoughts that you think can make you feel certain things, as in what you focus on in your mind and what you say to yourself and how you say it, the words that you use can also have an impact and make you feel certain things. Okay, so that's one of the things that will allow you to feel in a certain way. So one of the things that you can shift is by being aware of what you're saying to yourself in your head. And if you're saying useless things, or things that are making you feel something that is not really useful or disempowering, then know that you can actually change that dialogue. Whether it's a question that you're asking yourself or a statement that you're saying to yourself, you can change that. And certain words will have a resulting emotion as well. And saying it with emotion, saying certain words with emotion will make you feel that emotion or other emotions as well, certain other emotions. Does that make sense? So it's, for example, if I say to myself, I'm furious, that's going to make me feel a certain way. I'm already doing it in my body, as opposed to I'm a little bit peeved. It's a little bit annoying or slightly irritating. I'm going to feel something different. Does that make sense? Yeah. Some of you, just as I'm using those words, you could probably already feel the emotion behind what I'm saying. How many of you could feel what I was saying? How many of you could feel the furious and the slightly irritated or annoyed? Just the words, just the choice of words. And then the amount of emotion that I put into it, energy that I put into it, and how I'm using my body in it as well.
Start taking it from the heart more.
Taking it from the heart, okay. Or to the heart, is that what you said?
Start taking things from the heart.
From the heart, Yeah. And in the heart, it's like, we were looking at in some of the interventions, we think that that's where fear and all those kind of fearful emotions come from. But actually the heart only knows love. So if you're really coming from the heart, you will feel different things, as opposed to what the head is saying all the time. The problem is not that the head is saying things. The problem is that we believe what the head is saying. The problem is not that you have thoughts. The problem is that you think you are your thoughts. The problem is not that you have thoughts, but the problem is that you believe you are the thought, or you believe the thought. In other words, we identify with the thought, the thinking. Do you remember the sutras that we looked at? Chitta vritti nirodha, that's what he's talking about, in my opinion. The fluctuations of the mind comes from the identification with thinking. So some of you this week, like you're sharing, would have found that, I'm feeling certain ways, I'm feeling certain things as I go through the week. And if you really start to pay attention to what's going on in your head, you've probably gone back into certain thinking patterns, which result certain emotions. And by the way, if you can be that powerful to think something and to feel it, then go back to the thing you're thinking, you can change the thought or the words, and it'll allow you to feel something else. It's Pretty simple, yet profoundly powerful. I mean, you could take that one thing and change your whole life completely. As a matter of fact, I think that is actually one of, if not the most important teaching in the yoga philosophy. Because that one thing can change your entire life. So what Patanjali was saying in the book is, he's saying, if you get that you are not your thought, as in your identity is not tied in to the thought that you had. Because if your identity is tied into the thought, then the thought is having you, not you having the thought. Not you doing the thinking. It's like the thought generated you as an identity because you identified with it. Does that make sense? I'm just saying it in different ways so that it kind of lands, because I see some of you are like processing it right now. It's landing. Does that make sense? So you are not your thought. There is a thought, and here you are as an awareness of the thought, of the thinking. And if you get that, it changes the whole thing, the whole game. Changes your entire life. Because all of our suffering, bar none, comes from that one principle. All of our suffering comes from our identification with thought and thinking. Here you are as a presence, as an awareness, and then the mind, which is a part of you, had a thought. And then it said, oh, hang on, this whole protection mechanism thing, right, we talked about, kicked in and went, hang on, I need to do something about this. There's a thought. Now it's just a thought. I just saw a swan pass by. You know, it's like a thought just passing by. Like most of us, we see a thought, like a swan pass by, we would dive in and crash tackle the swan and fight it. It's just a swan. It's just a thought. If you leave it, it will just go past you, or like the cloud. But most of us are like, fuck, there's a fucking thought. I need to go fight it right now. I've seen a thought somewhere. There it is. Get it. Go get it. Meditation teaches you to sit back and watch the swan just go. It's like, oh, there it is. Sometimes the thought goes past and it says, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not loved. I don't need you. Most of us are like, fucking what? Come here! That's got to be true. Get your ass over here. And we crash tackle it and we fight it. Yeah, and we do it over and over again. It was just a little thought. And then we sit there and go, oh my God, I'm not good enough. I just found out. It's almost like we walk around unconsciously and go, you know this too, don't you? I knew it. Just the way you looked at me, just the way you said that. You didn't call me. You called me. So, I mean, it could be anything. I knew it. There's this one that said, I'm not good enough. And I knew it's true. And then we go, oh my God, I'm feeling so bad. I'm so low today. It's horrible. Because you believed the thought that said, I'm not good enough. And the brain was just saying, the mind was just saying, look, I have a feeling, I think, based on the information that I have, it must be that you're not good enough. It's got to be. I mean, based on all the proof that I have, that's what I can come up with. And you went, fuck, it must be true. It's got to be true. I'm just giving you a little analogy. I mean, I just saw this one go by. I was like, oh. And that's how it plays out. The identification with the thought, the thinking. It didn't mean anything. It's just a thought. And if you start observing your thoughts, that's why I say meditation is not just when you sit and meditate. Every moment in your day is an opportunity to be in meditation. That means to be that awareness, the presence that sees your life playing out in front of you, and to know the difference between the thought and you, and how you show up as that awareness in your life, which is when you get to that place, you can manifest things. You can just make shit happen in front of you, around you, inside of you, anywhere, everywhere. And not, like there's no limits, because you are that awareness. And you are in, like, you're participating, you are in a dance with life in each moment. You are life. Life is you. It's moving through you. The universe is moving through you. But the universe cannot move through you if you're stuck with the identity that you are the thought. Because then you're blocking the universe, saying, hold on, I'm this thought for a while, just wait. Most of us hold that thought for the whole lifetime, for our whole lifetime. We say, well, hold on, universe, wait. And then we wait our whole lives until we start to have a look. You know, or maybe you have an awakening moment. Until you wake up from the hypnosis. So the suffering that you're having and the low kind of moments that you're having is good, because it shows you, it's given you an opportunity this week to, because otherwise, you know, we can talk and we can do the interventions, are really powerful, but you may not believe it. But then now you're back in your life and you had that experience, you know, you see these kinds of things. I was sitting at home on my own and then I'm feeling low, I don't know why. Well, pay attention. What's going on inside? The answer is always within you. Rarely, or if ever, is it outside. The more work I do on myself, the more I find the whole deal is inner work. The whole thing. Some of you are not realizing that the work that you're doing here is impacting you and everyone around you like a ripple effect. That's the power of this work. It's the power of transformation. How many of you found people respond to you differently this week? They were nasty or a different way before, suddenly they're all, you know, or they don't know how to deal with you. They're like, whoa, who are you? Too happy. What the hell is wrong with you? Yeah, we can be the too happy crew. So does that give you something to work with? To bring the awareness to the thinking and look at where you're identifying with thinking, because that's where our suffering is. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember to leave me a comment below or any questions you may have about the topic covered. And if you haven't done so yet, hit subscribe and the bell icon so you'll be the first to know when I upload my next video. Also, if you know someone who may benefit from this video, please hit share and share it with them. Lastly, I commend you for your commitment to growth and personal transformation. Here's to your epic awakened life. See you in my next video.